Hello and welcome to this week's Granny's Garden. Now I'm standing at the moment on the east side of the property on top of the gravel area. Now at one point in time I had this earmarked as a dry garden, but if there's one thing I have learned after years of garden, and that is, there is nothing written in stone. Now before creating any type of garden room, what I usually do is pick a few choice plants and give them a try out to see how they react to sun, shade and possible microclimates. So actually when I got to start planting, I found that the gravel in some areas was over 8 inches thick, in other areas only 1 inch thick, and underneath all of it, the thickest landscape fabric I have ever seen in my entire life. And that changed everything. My vision of being able to plant plants inside the gravel, in ground, quickly flew out the window, took off in the horizon as if the devil was on its tail. So after my initial disappointment, I decided to turn that disappointment into something positive and into an opportunity. So in the July garden tour, I gave you a heads up of my new idea. And it was going to be a pot or a container garden. Now, I decided to mix terracotta pots or groupings of terracotta pots mixed in with ceramics from different areas of Spain. So it's always going to be terracotta pots in each group, but the difference is in one group it's going to be ceramics from Cordoba in Andalucía in the south of Spain, in another area ceramics from the coastal Mediterranean, and the third would be Talavera, ceramics from Talavera de la Reina in the centre of Spain. So now that I have the new idea set in my brain, it's now time to get it moving, because before you can start, I have to prepare. And this is phase 1, the preparation. Oh yes, I also asked you guys to give me help with finding a name for this garden, because all my little areas or my little garden rooms have got names. And you came up with some fantastic suggestions, but more about that later. Now, the first thing I need to do is trim back the ivy hedge. Yes, I've still got some ivy hedge. Not a heck of a lot, but I still have it. This is the last area in the entire garden that's got ivy. And I will be removing it, but not this year. I've had so much invasive vine removal over the last 12 months. I have had a belly full, so I just can't take on another one. So, trim it back for the moment. So what I'm going to be doing, as you can see, the gravel goes from the hardscaping, it's quite wide here, and then it's got this like border, where it's really quite shady and nothing much grows, except of course the ivy. So what I'm going to be doing is, first of all, getting rid of the humps, bumps and valleys, because you mightn't be able to appreciate it on the camera, but it goes up and then it goes down, then it comes back up and then it goes back down. So I'm going to be raking that in to make it nice and smooth. So the next thing I need to do then is lay the landscape fabric, and it'll start at the bridal wreath and come down about 33 foot, just as far as here. And it's about 4 foot wide, so it'll go from the present gravel right up to the edge of the ivy. And I want to leave room for removal of that ivy hedge in the future, but sufficient to be able to keep down the weeds and especially these wretched ivy runners. Then I'll staple it down, and that should be my work for today. Right, I've got the landscape fabric here, and I've got landscape staples here, and I've got 4 like button-like objects, as I'll show you up close now in a minute, for each of the 4 corners of the actual strip. So on each of the 4 corners of the strip, I'm just going to pop this in and hammer it down. The actual preparation done and finished. Now the important thing is, what do I call it? And I have to say a big thank you to all of you who've given those really fantastic suggestions. Now, because this is going to be a pot garden or a container garden, and it's got Spanish elements in it, like the 3 areas of Spain, the ceramics from the different areas of Spain. I wanted to have sort of like either a pot element or a Spanish element in it. So I've whittled it down to 3, which I want to show you. The first one is the Spanish pot garden. The second one is the pottering garden. And the third one is the maceta garden. Maceta meaning flower pot in Spanish. So how am I going to choose? Well, I actually got my little fox red working Labrador here, belongs to my daughter. So what I'm going to do is fold up the pieces of paper, put them under a bit of stone, and let her drop her ball beside the one she wants. We'll choose it that way. It might be a bit of fun. So let's fold them up. What I want to do is just fiddle them around here without looking at them, so I don't know which one is which. And then we're going to just put it under some stones. Quería. Busca la pelota. ¿Dónde está la pelota? So I've got her little ball. I'm just going to throw it now, and when she brings it back, I'm going to say suelta, which means let go. And wherever she lets go, that's going to be the name of the garden. Kenya. Coge. Ven. 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 And there we go. Look at it. Right beside the one on the left. So what's the one on the left? It is the... What is it? I haven't got my glasses on. The maceta garden. So thank you for that suggestion. Well, this has been phase 1. The hedge has been trimmed, the ground evened out, the landscape fabric has been laid, and now in the next thing what I need to do is take just a little sample of this sort of like pinky like gravel. It's like a pinky brown, and take it off to a local construction site and see if they can come up with something either the same or at least very similar to this colour. And then I'm going to be laying it. Then once that's done, what I'll be doing obviously is buying the pots. I want to give a big thank you to our name selector for the day. She did a very, very good job. She went straight to it. Fantastic. Well, there will be updates on this garden, obviously, because I've got to get the gravel, I've got to lay it, I've got to buy pots, both terracotta and the ceramic, and I've got to plant them. But by next spring, this garden has got to be up and running, because spring is a wonderful planting time for pots, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. I need to get it all done over the course of this fall or this autumn. So for the moment, from me, from the new maceta garden, or maceta garden to be absolute perfectionist, because in Spain the C is pronounced th, maceta garden, I'm going to see you here next week in Granny's garden. Bye-bye for the moment. Bye. And you know what's not good looking in the garden this week? The mess I made this morning. That's got to be all chopped up and bagged for this evening. So I've got my work cut out for me this afternoon. But for the moment, I'm going to go in and have lunch. So from me, once again, bye-bye. And also from Kenya, the name selector, and her ball. Go get it.